Welcome back, everyone. It's me, Mr. 4K. So here we are in VR, Gran Turismo 7, and as you can see, look, I already said this about PlayStation VR 2. Playing Gran Turismo on PlayStation VR 2, it's just it's a next level of realism, and this will be true for Microsoft Flight Simulator as well when it comes out. If Microsoft Flight Simulator, if it's anything like this experience, which I'm sure it will be, according to people who actually have tested Microsoft Flight Simulator. Just want to make sure that I'm recording this correctly. I want to give you a good view of this. Like, the whole point of this video is just for me to drive around and show you my Porsche, my Taycan, whatever they call it. Taycan. And I just want to show you how beautiful this is. It's just amazing. PlayStation VR 2. You know, I purchased this how long ago? When it came out, right? It was 2021. So since 2021, February. Was it 2021? Or was it 2022? I don't know, either way, it's either 21 or 22. Anyway, so let's just say, for the sake of the argument, it's 2021. Ever since I purchased this PlayStation VR 2 headset, I was amazed, like, of the quality and how lightweight it feels and comfortable it feels on your head, and 110 field of view, HDR, 4K, 120 hertz, OLED screen. It really puts everything in perspective, and I even dedicated my channel at one point in time, I believe, where I was just talking about how amazing PlayStation VR 2 was. I think I changed my name to a channel briefly. It was called Only on PlayStation VR 2. Now, I did criticize PlayStation VR 2 for not having, some innovative features, like some other VR headsets have, like Meta Quest, for example, like they have their innovative features and stuff. I was criticizing PlayStation VR 2 for not having way too many, for lack of not having applications like Netflix and VR chat and big screen VR, and for not having their own like a PlayStation World. Like, for example, like, one of the things I criticized Sony was, why can't you do what Facebook is doing? They created a social hangout place for people who have VR headsets called Meta Horizon World. And Meta Horizon World is still amazing, but I thought Sony had the opportunity to, create something like that, where you can put on a PlayStation VR 2 headset, meet new PlayStation players, PlayStation VR 2 players, and you can, hang out with them and play some games with them, etc., etc. It would be like a good social experience, right? So I did criticize, Sony for not, investing and focusing on PlayStation VR 2. I think, if you ask me personally, I think that they made a mistake for not. I don't think they will admit that, but I think deep down that they made a mistake for not, putting much emphasis on PlayStation VR 2. Now, the reason I'm mentioning this to you is because I want you to know that I did, criticize PlayStation VR 2. I'm not making this video to justify my purchase after how many years now, right? Since 2021. I'm simply saying that this is a good piece of hardware, and it looks really good on majority of the games, especially in the Gran Turismo, and that's why I'm making this video to showcase Gran Turismo to you. And soon enough we'll have Microsoft Flight Simulator 2024. So soon enough, once Microsoft Flight Simulator is released, we'll have two amazing, VR experiences on PlayStation VR 2, and that's Microsoft Flight Simulator and Gran Turismo 7. And to me, those two games are more than enough for the price of the admission. So I did criticize. I always mention positives and negatives, and that's what I'm trying to tell you here, guys. See, that's the one thing about my channel that you will realize. If you watch my videos, if you watch my live streams, every product that I review, I cover both positives and negatives. Okay. And that's how you should be. That's how, you should always be. Never justify and say, oh, this is the greatest thing ever, blah, blah, blah. You have to acknowledge both positives and negatives. It doesn't mean that you don't like the product. It doesn't mean that you don't want to use the product. It just means that, hey, there's some missed opportunities here. There's some positives and negatives here that needs to be addressed. But anyway, let's talk about the positives. This is not my first rodeo using a virtual reality headset. I've been a user of VR since the very first Lucky Palmer Oculus, what was it? The very first prototype of Oculus. So I've been a VR user since the whole VR thing started. I even remember using a Samsung Gear VR, and then after that I remember buying all the other VR headsets, HTC was at HTC Vive Pro, and I think I still have my HTC Vive, Windows Mixed Reality, and of course the original PlayStation VR when it came out in 2016, which I still have, by the way. I still have my original PlayStation VR. I just need a PlayStation 4 and I can still play it. But honestly, connecting the original PlayStation VR is just so much of a hassle. It's too many cables. It's just too much. It's still a good VR headset, but it's just too much of a hassle you have to go through. But I still have it. I just need a PS4 to use it, which I can buy a PS4 dirt cheap, They have them used at GameStop. I can, go to my nearest GameStop store and buy it for like, $80. I can buy a PS4 for like $80, bro. So it's all good. Anyway, my experience with PlayStation VR 2 has been positive and very solid. And if you watch my videos and live streams that I have done on this product, it's been a very solid experience. I always said that this VR headset, it's amazing. It's probably one of the, in my opinion, the best VR headsets that I have experienced. Okay, and I've used HTC Vive Pro. I've used Windows Mixed Reality. Dude, that Hewlett Packard headset, HP headset, dude, Lenovo headset. I used all of them, bro. Oculus Rift, Oculus Go, MetaQuest 1, MetaQuest 2, Meta Quest 3. I mean, the list goes on and on and on. Okay. I just want people to understand that I'm, not a virgin when it comes to VR. I'm a veteran when it comes to VR. So what I'm essentially telling you is, I have tested many VR headsets. I have used many different VR headsets, and let me tell you, in terms of quality, in terms of comfort, PlayStation VR 2 is hands down one of my favorite headsets. There's no question about it. From the field of view to the haptic feedback on the headset to 3D spatial audio to the beautiful OLED screen and a high peak brightness on that OLED screen with a HDR turned on and 4K resolution, up to 4K resolution, 120 hertz refresh rate. And yeah, the eye tracking, and I already said 110 field of view. There's no question about it. PlayStation VR 2, it's a remarkable piece of hardware, especially if you have a PS5 Pro. And this is one of the reasons why I said to you guys, I want to buy a PS5 Pro. I want to buy a PS5 Pro because of this. According to Digital Foundry, with the PS5 Pro, PlayStation VR 2 certainly takes the advantage. So what does that mean? That means that my PlayStation VR 2 experience will be even better with the PS5 Pro, especially with the Gran Turismo 7. And Digital Foundry has already covered this. You can go look it up. It's not just me saying this. You can go look up the Digital Foundry and you will find a video of Digital Foundry examining this and telling you that there is a drastic difference in terms of visuals between using PSVR 2 on the original PS5 and then PS5 Pro. Basically, what they have done with the PSVR 2 is they cleared out the blurriness that's in the distance. Now you get to have a much better depth of field in VR on the Gran Turismo 7. That means that the objects are not going to be as blurry when you look at them in the distance. They use a little bit of blurriness effect. They have removed that blurriness effect and they have sharpened up the image, and the depth of field, it's even more striking and better. So of course, this is yet another reason why I want to use, and buy PS5 Pro just for this alone. Well, two reasons why I want to buy a PS5 Pro. Number one, of course, is the I want to be able to play all those games that I have. I have a total of 600 games on PlayStation 5. I want to play all those PS5 Pro enhanced games that they're already enhanced, and there's a huge list of PS5 Pro enhanced games that I want to play. So that's number one reason. Number two reason is, of course, the PlayStation VR 2. I want to take the advantage of PlayStation VR 2. I mean, for crying out loud, this game alone, yes. And now Microsoft Flight Simulator, dude. Just those two games alone, Microsoft Flight Simulator 2024 and Gran Turismo 7, in my honest, humble opinion, it is worth the price of the admission for PlayStation VR 2 and PS5 Pro. And remember, with the PS5 Pro, you're also taking advantage of other PSVR 2, PS5 Pro enhanced games, on top of all the other non-VR PS5 Pro enhanced games. So you have there's definitely a reason. People say that there is no reason, but believe me, dude, there is a reason for you to purchase PS5 Pro and PSVR 2. And I just named a few reasons why, But for me personally, Microsoft Flight Simulator 2024 and Gran Turismo 7, I said this millions of times. Just this game alone for me was more than enough to justify the price of the admission for PlayStation VR 2. And now that we will have Microsoft Flight Simulator, dude, Those two games, Microsoft Flight Simulator 2024 and Gran Turismo 7, dude, like, what more do you want, man? It's like a love letter to individuals who love cars and love aviations. If you individual who love cars and aviations, PSVR 2, man, it's like a godsend. But there's also other games you can play. It's not just Microsoft Flight Simulator 2024. It's not just Gran Turismo 7. There's other games that you can try, you can play, you know. Don't forget, you can also connect this to your PC. It's a bit of a hassle connecting it to a PC. You have to buy the adapter, and you have to make sure that you're compatible with the Bluetooth, and your Bluetooth has to be specific Bluetooth that's compatible, you know. So it's a bit of a hassle, but either way, it's possible. So PlayStation VR 2, it's still relevant, and that's the whole point of this video. When I look at this game, like, when I like, dude, like, the detail, like, I can see the speakers. I can see the speakers on the side of the this car, on the left and the right side. You can see the speakers, dude. It's like, I see detail. I see the little tablet there, a little dashboard tablet. I can touchscreen press it. I mean, dude, I feel like I'm Leon. Like I'm Leon in a... Imagine, dude, Resident Evil Requiem. That's another thing I want to say. Oh, yeah, guys. Don't forget, with PlayStation VR 2, you can also play Resident Evil 8 Village. Don't forget, Resident Evil 8 Village and Resident Evil 4. And you can also play Resident Evil 7 if you have the adapter. I think you need to buy an adapter to be able to use I think, original PlayStation VR with your I don't know. Is there like an adapter or something you have to buy? I forgot. If you want to use your original PlayStation VR, or if you want to play, if you want to use your original PlayStation VR, or if you want to play original PlayStation VR games or something like that, you will need an adapter. Or something. I don't know. I forgot what it was, guys. I have to look it up. But I know that there is a way to play original PlayStation VR games with the original PlayStation VR, but you will need some sort of an adapter or something. I think. Or something like that. Anyway, I don't know. I can't remember, guys. So don't quote me on this. You know, I think it's something like that. There is a way to play original PlayStation VR games on your PlayStation VR 2, but you will need some sort of an adapter. Or for your original PlayStation VR, you will need some sort of an adapter to do it. But there is a way. Or something like that, I don't know. But look, I mean, it's not that important to me. I have original PlayStation VR. I just need a PlayStation 4, you know, to use it if I want to. But the point being is, you can play Resident Evil 4 and Resident Evil 8 Village on top of Gran Turismo 7 and pretty soon Microsoft Flight Simulator. So there's a bunch of other games that you can play. There's a huge list of games that you can play. So PlayStation VR 2 still is relevant. Now, is it perfect? No. I mean, I said this like millions of times. Nothing is perfect. I did criticize PlayStation VR 2 for not having more accessible applications, you know, like a big screen VR, Netflix, Amazon Prime, VR chat, for not having the ability to read the chat when you're live streaming. I have criticized them for not being more innovative on creating their own, like a PlayStation VR 2 world, where everyone from PlayStation VR 2 can come to hang out. Kind of like similar to what Facebook did with Meta Horizon World, where everybody can come to Meta Horizon World to hang out with their Meta Quest 3 headset. I did my share of criticism. I covered both positive and negative, and that's what I'm trying to say at the end of this video. And I don't want this video to be too long, but I'm telling you all of this is for the new people. I know people who have followed me from the past, from before. They already know all of this stuff. I don't need to make this for them. They know this. They know. What I have experienced in terms of products on my channel in the past 12 years. I'm making this video for new people, for new people who don't know me and they just find out about my channel, and they will have their own opinions about my channel, whatever, which is fine. Everyone's entitled to the opinion, and that's why I'm making this video, to tell you that I have acknowledged both positives and negatives. Having said that, since 2021, this PSVR 2 is still relevant, and it will be even more relevant once Microsoft Flight Simulator 2024 comes out. Imagine how amazing this is going to be, to be able to play this. Let's park here for a little bit. To be able to play this on a can we take a screenshot? Nah, we can't. I don't want to take any screenshots. All right. Imagine how amazing Microsoft Flight Simulator 2024 is going to be on this headset once they release it. So, since 2021, PlayStation VR 2, it's still relevant, in my opinion, and it's good to see that it's still relevant. It's good to see that it's still around. I was afraid that PSVR 2 is not going to last too long, and I wasn't the only one. But there was still hope. I still had some hope, regarding PlayStation VR 2. And like I said, it's good to see that Sony hasn't completely, left PlayStation VR 2, that it's still around. They still have great games to play on it. Like I said, Microsoft Flight Simulator 2024 for sure. This holiday season will be a big seller. A lot of people, believe me, there's a lot of aviators out there who will purchase this to play Microsoft Flight Simulator because it's more convenient than a PC. So this will be a huge success for PlayStation VR 2 this holiday season. So it's good to see, going into 2027, that PlayStation VR 2 is still strong, and it's still around, and it's still, taking the advantage of PS5 Pro, and it's still looking great. So this makes me happy. But as I said earlier, there's still room for the improvements. That there's always a room for the improvements. Sony can still make some improvements here. They can still make some things happen here. They can make some innovations here. Like I said, they can create PlayStation World, where all the PlayStation VR 2 owners can come in to hang out. They can call it PlayStation VR 2 World, like Meta Horizon World, right? They can just call it PlayStation VR 2 World, and everybody comes to PlayStation VR 2 World. They create their own little rooms. They invite their friends. They can sit down, have a conversation. Hell, can even do a podcast, right? Just talking to each other. And then, decide which games do we want to play next on PlayStation VR 2. I think it would be a great place, a great hangout place for PlayStation VR 2. And then, of course, they could always partner with Big Screen VR and bring the Big Screen VR. That would be great as well. But I don't think the Big Screen VR will ever happen because Sony, it's a Columbia Pictures. and they don't like that, you know, that people can, because they own studio. They have a Columbia Pictures. Columbia Pictures, you know, is part of Sony, and they don't want people to go to big screen VR to watch these movies that people are playing. So I don't think big screen VR will ever happen. But they could bring PlayStation VR 2 world where all of us could hang out and have a good time and chit chat with each other. Kind of similar to what Meta Horizon World has done. So there's still room for the improvement. Like I said, chat. They can bring chat. The streaming chat on the YouTube, right? That's one of the things I always was complaining. Like, how come there's no ability for me to read a chat when I'm streaming? Like, I want to be able to live stream, which you can live stream directly from PlayStation VR 2. Yes, you can do it. The only thing that sucks is you can't read the chat. And what's the point of streaming if you can't read the chat, right? You want to be able to read the chat. So that's something that I've been asking for since 2021. And, like I said, there's still room for the improvement. But that's up to Sony. That's up to Sony and whether or not they want to do it. I've been preaching about this, I don't know how many videos have I made so far. It's not my first rodeo. But I'm making this video in hope that maybe, Sony PlayStation developers will look at this. Sony PlayStation VR 2 developers will look at this and maybe they'll say, all right, he has a good point. Maybe we should, look at some of these feedbacks and listen, man, the fact that PlayStation VR 2 is still around, it's relevant, and Sony should understand that. Like, you still have opportunity to do something great with this VR headset. It's been around since 2021, and I can't believe that it's still around. But here we are. It's still around. It still looks great. Microsoft Flight Simulator 2024 is coming out. You have opportunity to do some great things here. You have Resident Evil 4 and Resident Evil 7 Village. Resident Evil 8 Village. I'm sorry. But you can still play Resident Evil 7 through this adapter that you have to purchase from Sony. But yeah, you still have some great lineup of games like Resident Evil 4, Resident Evil 8, yes, even Resident Evil 7 through this dongle adapter. And you've got, all these other games that are available. So, there's still hope for this PlayStation VR 2. You still have an opportunity with this PlayStation VR 2 to do some great things. That's all I'm saying. And I'm happy. I want to end this video. I don't want to make this video too long, but I felt like this video needed to be too long because there's so much I wanted to say. Because, this VR headset's been around since 2021, and I felt like I needed to say what I needed to say on this video, and that's why it's a long video. So what I'm simply saying is I'm happy and I'm glad that PlayStation VR 2 it's still relevant, and I'm happy and glad that Microsoft Flight Simulator 2024 is coming out with PSVR 2, and it'll be a great holiday season for PlayStation VR 2. A lot of people will buy PSVR 2 headset this holiday season just to have the convenience of flying with this PSVR 2 headset. So I'm happy to see that going into 2027, PlayStation VR 2 it's still strong and it's still relevant, and that's the name of this video. PSVR 2, it's still relevant, and that's great because I really honestly didn't expect that this VR headset would still be around even going into 2027 with Microsoft Flight Simulator 2024. And of course taking the advantage of PS5 Pro hardware with the Gran Turismo 7, which I'm sure will be true for Microsoft Flight Simulator 2024. So, PSVR 2, it's still relevant. even going into 2027, man, which I would have never thought that going into 2027, PlayStation VR 2, it's still relevant, and it's, you know, it's worth the price of the admission. That makes me happy. Listen, I don't want to see anything fail. I didn't want to see Google Stadia fail. This is what people don't understand about me. I don't want to see companies fail. I didn't want to see Google Stadia fail. But the reason I was criticizing Google Stadia, because I knew that if they don't do something soon, that they're going to fail. That's why I was criticizing them, giving them a feedback. You know, but the problem is they didn't listen, obviously, and that's why they failed. But I didn't want to see Google Stadia fail. I did enjoy Google Stadia. I love Google Stadia. Just like I'm enjoying Amazon Luna. I don't want to see Amazon Luna fail. You know, I love having options, dude. You know, I love to be able to try out different options, to play different variety of ways of how to play some of these games through various different options, like cloud, right? And I love cloud. You know, I love option of cloud. You know what I mean? So, all right. So this video, it's. Let's exit this and let me just look at how long. Oh my God, the video is 31 minutes. 31 minutes. Okay, it's 31 minutes. All right, so guys, I don't know what else can I say. Let me just park over here for a little bit. Let me just park over here. I think I said enough. And again, I'm sorry that the video is half an hour, but there's so much I need to say. A lot of people say, why don't you make videos shorter? Because if I make a video very short, then I can't say what I need to say, and there's so much I need to say. And I want you guys to look at my channel, that it's not trying to be like everyone else. I'm not trying to duplicate everyone else. I'm not trying to copy everyone else. I want to be unique. I've always been very unique by doing my own very unique ways of the way I make videos. And I want you to hear me transparent, as always, as I have been transparent when it comes to products. I don't think there's anyone more transparent than me when it comes to reviewing products. I was transparent about the Steam Deck. I talked about the positives and negatives about the Steam Deck. I was transparent about the Asus ROG Li. I talked about the positives and negatives. I was always transparent about every single product that I have reviewed. And it's no different here with PlayStation VR 2. It's no different with Nintendo Switch 2. It's no different when I was reviewing Google Stadia and all these other cloud services. Okay, I always try to be transparent and fair and unbiased. But as someone who is unbiased, I have to mention both positive and negative. That's how you should always review the product. Give both positives and negatives. Nothing is perfect. Okay, no such thing is perfect. And that's why it's important to always tell people honestly the positives and negatives. And that's why this video is so long. Okay, for that reason. And I hope that you guys will appreciate this video, especially for the new members, for the new people who just discovered my channel. This is really not for my old subscribers, for my old members. This is really for new subscribers who don't know me and they just find out about my channel. That's why I'm making this video, honestly. And I am happy to say that I'm glad that PlayStation VR 2 is still relevant. I'm glad that PlayStation VR 2 is still around, going into 2027 very strongly with Microsoft Flight Simulator 2024. So the fact that PlayStation VR 2 is still relevant going into 2027 because of the Microsoft Flight Simulator 2024 this holiday season. They'll be selling a lot of headsets. Trust me. That's good to know that even in 2027, PlayStation VR 2 is still relevant. That's amazing, dude. Because I really didn't think that PlayStation VR 2 was going to be this relevant, this long, since 2021. So I'm very happy about that. Okay? All right. Well, thank you for watching, and thank you for understanding why this video is so long. And I will see you guys on the next video. Thank you. This looks amazing. I'm just checking out my video feed, and let me see. Can I take a screenshot here, like this here? There you go. That looks great. That will be the thumbnail. Thank you guys for watching, and I will see you on the next video.